yeah. Uno, dos, tres, pasa el guaro. Y sin estrés, que caro. Te gustan los chicos malos. Y se te ve que ella es como Jordan. Facilito las anota. Y ella se le ve la nota. Que se mueve como loca. Ella es como Jordan. Facilito las anota. Y ella se le ve la nota. Que se mueve como loca. Yeah. Esa Julieta no necesita su Romeo. A esas caderas todo le creo. Y esta manera de perreo. Bájale al fuego porque esto se puso feo. Aquí un paisita con la de Ponce. Ella la mala y apelando el bronce. Yo flow Maluma, tu flow Beyoncé. Pega esto pa' que sientas el roce. Con su flow gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Con su flow gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Yo le doy un flow a mi bebé la pupi. Le doy un guarito pa' que deje el tutti frutti. Pa' que no se estrese y solo me va a hacer booty. Izquierda, derecha con su movimiento sutil. Nos noquea como lo haya en el ring. Nunca pasa moda como la era de los memes. De toda la peli ella es la mejor sin. Sabe destacar y eso que no sea Supreme. Con su flow gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Con su flow gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca, baby. Presentando pa'
For a fact, they both don't like that woman.
Yeah, I told you.
I tell you that because, furthermore, if you look at the situation, their father met that woman when he was 29. Do you know how old Diana was? 16. Diana was 16.
Oh my goodness.
My man
What
was
would they say in 2023?
You see? The
Hey.
Ace police have not said anything.
The Ace
So
police.
now, when your
Severe grooming. Severe.
imagine your mother goes on TV
Brutal, man.
and says your father and his descendants and his predecessors are bullying me, they're making me not eat, the woman is giving me sleepless nights, and then my mother dies, and then you go and marry that woman. Huh? You think I'm
How do
gonna
you
like
say?
that woman?
That is a slap in the face.
A big slap in the face. But for William, as you said, he's sucking up because what? For him, he wants to be king.
He wants to
He wants to be king. So,
100%.
but Harry, my guy, my brother,
My guy.
sticking up for his
William
brother.
is what you call a man that does not stand for anything, can fall for anything.
He will fall. Look at him; he's just like the wind.
Fall.
That man, his head is falling as well. His hair is falling out.
Allegedly, he's also like father, like son. I hear.
Yeah.
He also has a side copy, but
Allegedly, man.
Allegedly.
Is this a news flash?
And allegedly-
Are you breaking?
she was there at the
We
coronation.
didn't confirm it, you didn't hear it here.
Me, I'm just talking what I read in the newspapers.
Yeah.
What newspaper is this?
That already she was also there at the coronation. On Camilla's side. That's what I saw.
William had chest, eh?
Allegedly. So for me, I don't think they like her, but they tolerate her.
So they have a Department of Side Peace Affair.
You not see that?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Friday podcast. Well, it's actually 1 minute past midnight on Saturday here in Tbilisi, Georgia. But hello and welcome. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. On much later than I had planned today because I was at the Freedom Day parade. Are there any Georgian squaddies in the chat? Do we have any Georgian squaddies? Please let yourself be known. Was a very, very interesting and fun experience. I don't think I've actually ever been to a military parade. Like even in the UK, I just don't show up for these things. So it was a very fun experience. Drank some Georgian wine, learned about Georgian history a little bit, and it was a beautiful day. Very, very hot and sunny. And they had parade, they had performances that went into the evening and also fireworks as well. So yeah, that's what I've been up to today. I'm still here for another month. I think I'll definitely stay here for another month. That will give me enough time to get some more work done and also enjoy a little bit more of Tbilisi and beyond because I haven't really done any sightseeing while I've been here because the weather's been a little bit unpredictable and I've been so busy. But now it's June, it's super hot here, like very hot, very humid. So it's perfect conditions to go out and do some sightseeing now. Finally. Right, let's get on to the royal news, shall we? Let's get on to the royal news. Sorry, let me just go through my slides, folks. Okay, first of all, well, before we get onto the royal news, we touched upon it a little bit in the last podcast because the news was breaking literally while we were live. I didn't get to put any pictures up. So once again, rest in power to Miss Tina Turner, the legend of rock and roll, and also a phenomenal inspiration and icon to many women. You know, she went through a very, very violent and tumultuous marriage in the spotlight, and you know, she escaped. But what's so sad is she was very much not only abused in her marriage, but also when she decided to leave. She had a lot of abuse levied to her. And unfortunately, I've been looking at a lot of the commentary online since this news broke, and it's just sad. Sometimes your skin folk really ain't your kinfolk. And a lot of the criticism and a lot of the horrible messages have unfortunately been coming from black folk, which is very, very sad to see. Considering just the outpouring of love from all over the world. But she was also made fun of and ridiculed by a lot of hip hop and R&B artists, people like Chris Brown, Kanye, Jay-Z, and Beyonce. Even surprisingly, a lot of people pointed out that famous line in Drunken Love, "Eat the Cake" anime, which I was always very surprised by that, and I couldn't understand. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Jay-Z, so I guess that didn't surprise me. But I was surprised that Beyonce would allow that in the song, and many other artists as well, like Chris Brown and Kanye, kind of making fun of and making light of, Tina's domestic abuse situation. But she got through it. She escaped. She moved to Switzerland. She found the love of her life. I think they dated for 27 years. Erwin Batch, I believe his name is, and then got married. He donated one of his kidneys to her, which is, I mean, how else do you really say I love you? That is just the ultimate, right? Giving away your kidney. And it would seem with her until her last days. So just an example of how you can restart your life and find happiness again, even if you've really been through it. And what an amazing inspiration she was, both musically and in her personal life. And she went to Europe, found um, a huge audience there, and there's the Tina Turner the musical in the West End in London. So if you're ever in London, do go and check that out. Right. Thank you, Black Queen, for reminding everyone to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Helps the algorithm. Right, on to royal news now. Russian squaddies have been doing their thing. This is from a Russian account. So the girl with the big picture saying, Harry and Meghan, we believe you, we support you, stop bullying. I believe she is Russian, and she posted it on her account. And then she also had other Russian squaddies also holding up signs and putting writing over their blank signs on her Instagram as well, which is amazing, and it just shows the reach of the squad in all the different countries. I know that there's a very big squad presence online anyway. I mean, there's a big squad presence all around the world, but in terms of online communities, the Brazilian squaddies have got a lot going on. The French squaddies have got a lot going on. I know the South African squaddies had their accounts too. So never be afraid, like I always say, to start your own platforms, especially if they're very country specific. I think that's going to be the next thing now. I feel like we have a lot of very big platforms that kind of serve the whole squad, but I think very country specific platforms is going to be the next thing that I think more of us need to do in the squad. Right. And thank you to the Russian squaddies for your love and support. Now, in Karma is Coming news, Phillip Schofield. So this is the first article that I have seen in a major tabloid like this. This one saying Schofield, bombshell, Phillip Schofield had an affair with a much younger male ITV employee while still married. Tell us something we don't know. Tell us something we don't know. I mean, yeah. I think anyone who's been on the internet streets knows what's coming with Phillip Schofield. He's obviously had a lot of powerful people protecting him. I think they've known for a very, very long time what was going on. And the way they tried to cover it up really was just very, very disingenuous. But here you have it finally. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Cinderella, you said interesting that the signs are all in English. I think what she did was she had them hold up just blank pieces of paper and then just put them on in English. Okay, but yeah. That's Phillip Schofield for you. Also, in other Karma is Coming news, some other Meghan and Harry haters, Mr. Ian Dale, who once said that Harry and Meghan's video was not the royal thing to do. He started mouthing off about Meghan and Eurovision, saying, "Where's Meghan? No doubt she will feel snubbed that the Princess of Wales was in the opening Eurovision sequence." Like inserting Meghan where Meghan wasn't, where Meghan hasn't commented, where Meghan was just minding her own business. I mean, Meghan had a whole Eurovision song where she was featured last year. Why would she feel any type of way about Kate being featured in Eurovision, other than the fact that Kate herself was copying Meghan's dress from the NAACP Awards? Saying Harry will sue. It's like they just bring up Meghan completely unprovoked. Anyway, Mr. Ian Dale, much like Mr. Eamon Holmes, seemed to be having issues with slipping and sliding all over the place with his back and his hip. So he tweeted, "Some news. This afternoon, I tripped at the top of an escalator at Charing X Tube. Oh, sorry, Charing Cross. I was taken by ambulance to St. Thomas. I have a badly broken hip. Replacement op scheduled for Monday. Superb. Care from all here. In the immortal worlds of Britney Spears, oops, I did it again. And I hope you never again put Meghan or Harry on your lips. Do these people realize that they're actually cursing themselves every single time they put Harry and Meghan on the lips? Do you think they've realized at this point? I'm actually going to make a whole video. Instant karma after trash talking Meghan Markle. Our dear Duchess. Other Harry and Meghan haters. Andrew Tate. Andrew is still under house arrest. And he tweeted this: I have 100 hoes who wish they were my dog. This tweet was not doing what he thought that it was doing. And he was so ridiculed that he actually deleted this. He knew full well this did not go down the way he wanted it to go. This right here is going to be how all the Andrew Tate incel fanboys, this is how you're going to end up, just so you know. Another one, biting the dust. Right. Yeah, Wendy. Here come the scandals. One at a time. Trinette, one by one, these rotor rats are getting theirs. Karma may not strike straight away, but she always knows your address. Indeed, she does. Yeah, the cosmic forces are at work. Mina, the ancestors pushed him. Which ancestors? The African ones or the Irish ones? Or both? The ancestors pushed him together. Oh my god. Cinderella, I wonder if Meghan wakes up every day and says to her assistant, I wonder what the press said I did today. Oh, I hope she doesn't, you know. I really hope she doesn't. It must be annoying to know that they just make up such horrible things about you. To be honest, I don't know how she doesn't have panic attacks every day. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if that's not something that she was going through. Because to just know that there is this whole hate machine and you don't ever know where the next thing is going to come from, how, you know, people you meet every day, how they're going to react to you. It must be really just something else to go through. Can't even imagine it. But we saw, like, in the Netflix documentary that, you know, she does her breathing, she does her yoga, you know, they go to counseling, and I'm glad that they do all those things and that they're showing that they do all those things. I think it's very important for other people to see as well. Like, if you're going through things, do get help. But for her especially, it's just a completely different level of anything that I've ever seen. Especially for somebody that has done absolutely nothing. Yeah, who wants this loser? Like the so-called alpha male. this right here. This is one of these alpha males. Oh my goodness. Harry is what I would call an alpha male. And it's not because he's a prince, it's because he's principled. Okay. Girl Lou, she said, just woke up and here you are. Have I missed too much? No. We were just laughing at Andrew Tate. On to the next thing. Miss Catherine. Miss Catherine showed up to a PR royal shoot. I think it was something to do with the gallery, and they're raising money for a gallery. Good luck with that, because a lot of her charities seem to be shutting down. But the most interesting part about this visit is what was going on outside. So here you have a lady with a sign that says monarchy is child abuse, and also another one that says born equal. So protesting the monarchy there. Now, what's interesting is that this is not one of the main Republic protesters that we usually see. So the Republic group usually have yellow signs, and then there's also Labour for Republic, who usually have white and red signs. So I don't know whether or not this woman was affiliated with anyone or this is just a lone protest. It looks like a lone protest, but there you see the police officer going to grab her. I don't know why we're now grabbing people for just holding up signs. She's clearly not attempting to get too close to Kate. To me, it just looks like she wants to be in view of the cameras. A lot of the times now with royal events, you can't see the schedule in advance because they just don't want people to know that they're coming, especially now with the increased risk of protests. And we've been seeing it more often. Charles getting egged, Camilla getting egged, the booing. I think they want to make sure that they have as little of that as possible. Some people also noted the fact that she was wearing pink and it was a very similar outfit to the one that Meghan wore on, date night with Harry. Now, having said that, this is actually a repeat of an outfit that Kate has worn before. She wore the jacket and the trousers before. I believe this is a McQueen, but she wore it with like a white top last time. But yeah, it is a little bit weird nonetheless that, just weeks after we saw Meghan in a very similar pink outfit, here she is again. But shout out to the woman, whoever that was, whoever you are. If you'd like to come on the show, please do DM me. Reach out to your girl, and I'm happy to have you on. Tell us who you are. Katie, what does Tate have against the Sussexes? He was on Piss Moron's show, and he was talking about, whether or not Meghan cooked for Harry, and just like being an absolute pain in the bum as he always is. Andrew Tate is walking, talking, projection of daddy issues. His deadbeat, dead ass daddy didn't want him or his brother, and now he's bothering us all with his daddy issues. But yeah, that's what he was talking about when he was on Piers Morgan's show. Whether or not Meghan can cook. Ridiculous. Yes, she can cook, and she was making a lot of money from that cooking skills on her TIG blog. Yeah, Katie, peaceful protesters should be left alone. What is wrong with just holding up a sign? Yes, Benjamin, being petty is definitely not alpha. Being kind and empathetic and brave is alpha. In my eyes, anyway. Next thing. Oh, yeah, also on Kate. So, this was actually in GB News, and there was a similar article about this in the Daily Fail from Richard Eden. And I had said when I read that article the other day that I suspected that there was someone in the palace that leaked against Kate, but this is something that Harry said in his book himself. The way in which the different palaces brief towards each other and how you cannot overshadow somebody else in the family, but how pathetic is it that in this family, somebody wearing a pink dress at a flower show can overshadow you? I think it really just shows how short-sighted these people are, but it just proves Harry right that they are complaining that Her Majesty the Queen Camilla received less coverage than might have been expected. To be honest, I think that even if Kate had showed up in something very muted, I do think she went very bright to catch attention. Even if she had showed up in something very muted, I think they would have still put her on the front covers. Because for those who like the royals and who follow them and who are royalists, Kate is still the more popular one. And certainly, of the remaining royals, yes, she is the most photogenic out of the ones remaining. So of course they're going to put her on the cover. Why would they put Charles and Camilla? King and Queen in name only. In no other way are they king or queen. And it's just showing that you had that whole coronation, that whole clowning, and people still aren't really interested in you. Also, they are definitely listening to us and watching us on these internet streets. Newsweek posted this article saying Meghan Markle fans think children keep giving Kate Middleton the side eye. Well, it's not just children, it appears it's animals too. It appears it's animals too. Look, the little sheep at the top, the little Baba at the top there, I'm telling you, that sheep is actually heading towards the slaughterhouse. He's like, I would rather go to the slaughterhouse than be here. He's trying to run away. And then you got the dog that's leaning away. And then you got the cat that looks real depressed. Poor little Baba. He just wasn't having it. But yes, the kids too. And there are so many do you know, I might do a whole nother podcast where I just do a slideshow of every single picture where these people are around children. I mean, the one with Edward and those 5 black girls up there, or 6. I think there's another lady in the back. I mean, what would these young women find so interesting about this random minor royal, who most people really don't even know? Oh, I don't know what these people are thinking. But yeah, this article came about because obviously they're watching us. They saw what we were posting about on Twitter and they wrote a whole story about it. The power of the squad. Oh. Oh gosh. It's the one with the sheep that's killing me. Baba, no thank you. Um Yes, Wendy, Charles and Camilla do not sell or get clicks. Catherine sells still because of her clothes. Like the royalist girlies still do buy her clothes. That's why she sells. And if you actually go to the Daily Fail and you go to those articles, you can see all of the affiliate links. They've clearly got something going on with a lot of the designers. And she brings in a lot of cash through affiliate links. Cinderella, I'd like to read the rest of the article. Of this one, just Google the title. You should be able to see it. They basically took a bunch of our tweets and put it in the article. Yeah, the dog is saying absolutely not today. Not today, thank you very much. Leave me alone. Okay. Next thing. There was an incident outside of Downing Street. They're saying a car rammed into the Downing Street gates. Okay, now the word rammed is doing a hell of a lot of heavy lifting here. It was the slowest ram I've ever seen. It was very, very slow. The man was taken away. Have no idea what this was about, whether it was a political protest, a moment of madness. I don't know. But the guy was arrested. No further details so far. Nobody was hurt, thank goodness. And the Prime Minister was taken out of the back. But honestly, like if you watch the footage, it was very, very slow. Like it was the slowest ramming I think I've ever seen. And no one got hurt. And it didn't even look like he was trying to hurt anyone. It looked like he was trying to damage the property more than like a person, but he was just going so slow. So yeah, no further details on why this happened, but thankfully nobody was hurt. Now on to the story about Sophie and this poor elderly woman who passed away. Now I'm going to read an article from Celeb Bitchy because I think they pretty much summed up how I feel about this whole thing. So Helen Holland's family are saying that they don't blame Sophie for what happened. So this is from Celebrity. They're saying, just days after King Charles's coronation, the Duchess of Edinburgh was travelling through London with her police escorts. One of the police motorcyclists was travelling at high speed. Apparently, the whole motorcade was speeding, though, and the police motorcyclist struck 81-year-old Helen Holland. Holland was apparently thrown 40 feet from the force of the impact. She was hospitalized and in a coma for a few weeks. She passed away this week. Sophie issued two statements, one statement days after the motorcade struck Holland and one statement after Holland passed away. There's been no mention of a formal apology from Sophie or the police, nor has there been any offer to take care of funeral costs, nor Sophie meeting with the family. Sophie has just been carrying on like nothing happened, enjoying horse shows and garden parties. Yeah, she was actually at another garden party today, by the way. Well, now Helen Holland's family says that they don't blame Sophie. Convenient, I guess. The check is in the mail. Listen, I can totally get that this family doesn't want to deal with any BS from the royal households, from the press. But I honestly feel like in the current climate that we're in, it's actually ripe to drag the royals to hell as they rightfully deserve to be dragged to hell for this happening. Because in my eyes, this could have been avoided. We still don't have the answer as to why Sophie needed a motorcade. She doesn't. Why that motorcade was speeding. I mean, even if you have a police escort, it doesn't necessarily have to be speeding. You're not a high-risk individual. You're not the prime minister. You can still have police cars and police protection. They don't need to be speeding. Where were you going? And you were in a part of London where the only meeting that you had that day wasn't in that area of London. She was speeding at around 3:15. Her event was around 5 something in another part of London. So she shouldn't have even been there in the first place. We still don't know why she was there. Why was the motorcade speeding and why was it there? Anyway, it goes on to say, during a visit to the scene of the tragedy, Mrs. Holland's grieving son Martin sought to show support for Sophie as he declared, it's not Sophie's fault. We don't blame her. The police did it. This is not anti-royal. No way. My mother loved the royals. And there you have it. Like, what does this really have to do about whether or not you love or hate the royals? Someone is dead. This isn't about whether or not one hates or loves the royals. And that makes me wonder, have they been pressured into saying this? Because whether it was a royal or whether it was someone else, someone is dead. And for sure, as I will continue to point out, if this was Meghan, there would literally be calls for her hanging. But this is just going to be swept under the carpet. Sophie's gone off to Iraq. Charles is going off to Romania, apparently. And they're just carrying on and smiling and waving as usual. Mr. Holland, a project director for a building firm, has been calling for reforms to police escorts since the horrifying collision. He said it's outriders going at high speed to stop traffic at lights before the VIP sweeps through. They've got to think of a better way. I know the royals need to be protected, but they need to do so in a way that doesn't endanger the public. Wait, goes on a little bit more. So Dorothy, who Miss Holland had been visiting before the fatal smash, said her younger sister was well aware of the risk presented by the busy 3-lane route in Earl's Court, saying she's been there many, many times. She knew how dangerous it was. She wasn't in any hurry. She wanted to leave early because the trains were funny that day and she didn't want to rush. She was a cautious person and very conscious of the road. Dorothy, who didn't want her name to be used, revealed a police patrol car refused to take her to hospital as she struggled to hail a taxi after learning her sister was slipping away. I couldn't get a taxi, so I flagged a police car down. I said my sister was dying and I couldn't find a taxi. He said, "We're not a taxi service," and drove off. Wow. Like, wow. I don't blame them. He didn't know who I was, and I was probably incoherent. I expect I was crying at the time. I can't remember. That's still not the way that you react to someone who's clearly distraught. You can just say, "I'm sorry. I'm not able to help you in this way. Could I help you get a Bolt or an Uber or something?" Not, "We're not a taxi service." How rude. So it goes on to say there was no contact from the Met until Wednesday this week when an email arrived. Mr. Holland is not reading it until he is with his three brothers, but said the subject mentioned deeper sympathies. The Duchess has offered her deepest condolences to the family and is understood to be planning to speak to them privately. So Celeb Bitchy goes on to say, this is their commentary. The Holland family is more forgiving than me, indeed. In their shoes, I would have already met with lawyers and issued some strongly worded statements about why the F does Sophie need this kind of police escort, the kind which puts the public in mortal danger. While Sophie wasn't driving, it's asinine that she hasn't shown more sympathy for the 81-year-old mowed down in the street by her police escort. Again, think about how the media would be reacting if one of the Sussex's security people mowed down a senior. That exactly. That exactly. Basically, one big cover up, keep calm and carry on, even though we just killed someone's granny. Unbelievable. Hmm. Okay, yeah, Sharon, those young ladies were looking at Edward like, who is he? Yeah, who is he? Why are they presenting this person to us? yeah, yeah, that poor lamb was breaking his neck to get away. Rahini, I think it would be cool if the tabloids add an extra tab for stories about the Sussex squad. Yeah, then we really know our power, right? I mean, listen, Jessica over on her Instagram, she's gonna have more followers than the Sun very soon. Yeah, exactly. Sophie and her husband could get a bus and nobody would notice. They just look like anyone else. Gail Lewis, here's a conspiracy thought for you. Was it Sophie? Could it be? Could it have been a more senior royal and she's been put in it to save a higher up? I mean, this is something that people have said. It's not something, you know. I will say that it is hearsay because I have not seen any evidence that that could be true, but it's a theory that people have put forward because it just doesn't make sense. Like, what was she doing in central London at that time? She should not have been there, and they have not answered the question: why was she there? Because have you noticed in all of this, they're not even talking about the fact that she had a event later that day. Because then people are going to start asking, okay, well, if she had an event later that day and that event was in X place, why was she in central London at this time? Unbelievable. And they haven't even offered to pay for the funeral. Miranda Ross, that family really wants a check. I mean, I hope they do get their check. But you would be giving me a check and I absolutely would not be covering for you. But again, listen, I don't blame them. Okay, I'm not trying to have a go at the family. Can you imagine? You're just going about your daily lives and then you get thrown into this and it involves the royal family. And now they're probably dealing with press intrusion as well because we know what the press are like. I mean, they were trying to get into a woman's hospital ward with a burnt face after being blasted in the 7/7 bombings. So they're probably being hounded by the press as well while trying to grieve the loss of their loved one. So I'm not saying that I blame them, but I'm sure that there would be, like a sympathetic journalist who would be willing to take their side and fight in their corner if they really wanted to take on the royals. Because this is just beyond unacceptable. Like someone's life is gone, and you can't bring a life back. Oh, Lottie, I don't know why Kate is out there every day. What is she talking to people about? She's not talking. She's mumbling and having her picture taken. Rahini, it probably was not Sophie in that motorcade. Can you imagine if we found out that it wasn't, though? What a conspiracy that would be. Of course, Cinderella, of course. If it had been Meghan's motorcade, she would have gone to the hospital to visit the family, then donated money to help with expenses. I mean, if the On Royals actually did that, this would probably go away a lot faster. Instead, they're running away to different countries. And I maintain that they probably knew that this was coming, and that's why they've gone. Okay, on to the next thing. Let's get things moving. Yeah, Hugh Grant's a damages claim brought by Hugh Grant against the publisher of The Sun will go ahead in a trial following a ruling by a high court judge. Fantastic for Hugh Grant. He has been part of the Hacked Off campaign and trying to get press reform for a really, really long time. But the press just continue to attack him. But he stuck it out, and hopefully, this is going to be another nail in the coffin, especially for The Sun, but for the tabloids in general. And also, John Cleese, a well-known British comedic actor, he actually showed up to the High Court. So he was just there to watch. He's not a participant, although he is a past victim of phone hacking by the Mirror Group newspapers and wants to watch some of the case being brought by Prince Harry. So I don't know if he plans on, filing himself in this case eventually. But great for him to come, because it did bring some press attention, and the press did write about the fact that he came. So giving this case even more attention. So fantastic. Also, in Delusion Derangerland, Harry is lonely. And only in Delusion Derangerland is Harry lonely. I don't know why they want to continue. Actually, I guess I do know why they want to continue to reinforce this false narrative about Harry being lonely and he wants to come home and he's sad and he's a hostage. They cannot just admit that this man is happy, because then they'll have to admit that Meghan makes him happy. And then they'll have to admit that royal life really ain't ish. I mean, my man was eating discount meat and shopping from TK Maxx, a whole British prince. And you made us believe that these people live the most gold gilded lives, and they don't. Anyway, Petronella Wyatt, who is a friend of our favorite side chick Camilla, she has been all over the Daily Fail writing about Harry's loneliness. She wrote, the Duke of Sussex, who attended his father's coronation without his wife, Meghan cuts an increasingly without his wife, Meghan cuts an increasingly lonely figure back home in California. How would you know? How would you know this? Or that, at least, is the claim from well-connected journalist Petronella Wyatt. She is not well-connected. Petronella is the former side chick of Bojo. Bojo, who apparently is having another child. Daughter of the late Queen Mother confidant, Lord Woodrow Wyatt. Friends of mine who live near Harry and Meghan are always bumping into Meghan at parties these days, Petronella said. She tends to leave Harry at home. Saves paying for a babysitter. I mean, these people just come up with scenarios in their head. What friends of Petronella live in Montecito? I don't know who these people are. They just make things up. And Petronella must have amnesia, because this is what she was writing about Camilla back in the day. Rumpled jacket, swiped hair, smoking and drinking with Plum and a love of bawdy jokes. The day I met Camilla, she was no one's idea of a queen, but now I think she'll help save the monarchy. Oh, how lovely to say that about your friend, Petronella. Oi. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there today. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to do calls because I had a really long day. Been out in the sun and I just need to have a shower and go to bed. Thank you for coming as always, everyone. Much appreciated. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe on your way out. Oh, are some people saying no sound? Maybe you needed to just refresh. Rochelle, Amazon Spare is #1. Fantastic. I mean, it's been lingering around the top 10 ever since it came out, but great to know that it's going back to #1. I do think that whole incident in New York definitely triggered more book sales. Ola, I love it. It's like a damn cult drinking the Kool-Aid. Yeah. They have to keep feeding them the Kool-Aid because they have to keep the lie alive. Rachel, lies. Megan was not a big party girl when she was single. Exactly. And when she did go out, when you actually look at pictures of the places where Megan went, you know, there were very upscale, very respectable parties and events. Like, she was not falling out of Chateau Marmont at 4 a.m. in LA. Okay. Alrighty. I think that is gonna be all. Benjamin says that's a beautiful painting of Diana. Yeah, it's someone having fun with the AI. Hi, YM Droid. Yeah, we're on late today because I was out all day, so I came on just a little bit later. So is that Diana? How many hands does she have? Yes. This is one of the weird things about AI. I haven't looked into it and I don't know why this is, but it does a weird thing with human hands. So yeah, that this is just a thing that you'll notice with AI pictures in general. Thank you so much, Daniel Medical. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Black Queen. Okay, I'll give you the last word of the day. Appreciate your support. I appreciate your support too, and be careful with those men in uniform. I will be. Thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Ciao.
Lunes, ya. Uno, dos, tres, pasa el guaro. Y sin estrés, que caro. Te gustan los chicos malos. Y se te ve que ella es como Jordan. Facilito las anota. Y ella se le ve la nota. Que se mueve como loca. Ella es como Jordan. Facilito las anota. Y ella se le ve la nota. Que se mueve como loca. Yeah. Esa Julieta no necesita su Romeo. A esas caderas todo le creo. Y esta manera de perreo. Bájale al fuego porque esto se puso feo. Aquí un paisita con la de Ponce. Ella la mala y apelando el bronce. Yo flow Maluma, tu flow Beyoncé. Pega esto pa' que sientas el roce. Con su flow gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaeton, ton, reggaeton, ton. Con su flow gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaeton, ton, reggaeton, ton. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Que le doy un flow a mi bebé la pupi. Le doy un guarito pa' que deje el tutti frutti. Pa' que no se estrese y solo me va a hacer booty. Izquierda, derecha con su movimiento sutil. Nos moquea como Loya en el ring. Nunca pasa moda como la era de los memes. De toda la peli ella es la mejor sin. La de esta cara y eso que no usa Supreme. Con su flow, con su flow, con su flow. Gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaeton, ton, ton, reggaeton, ton, ton. Con su flow, con su flow, con su flow. Gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaeton, ton, ton, reggaeton, ton, ton. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Ella como Jordan, facilito las anotas. Ella se le ve